Sahil?
Salatul, the salah during Safar, that involves reduction in arkan, and Salatul Khawf involves reduction in the Safar salah involves reduction in the number of rak'ah, and Salatul Khawf involves reduction in number of arkan. So if Khawf is performed in Safar, then you reduce the arkan and the number of rak'ah. But if Khawf is performed not in Safar, in residence, then you pray full rak'ah, but reduce the number of rak'ah. And the difference implies that they can be performed outside the state of Safar.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. That's interesting. The answers I have slightly different. The first one, with regard to the ayah, of course they are taking what's known as the mafhum, the implicit meaning of the ayah, right? And here, this is what's known as mafhum mukhalafa, the meaning that إذا ضربتم في الأرض, that if you're traveling on the land, okay, you can do this Salatul Khawf. So if the opposite of that, or the opposite implicit meaning of that, is that if you're not traveling, then you can't. So this mafhum al-mukhalafa, they said that إذا خرج, if it's regarding a general situation, if it's regarding a general al-ghalib, as they say, that mafhum is not to be considered, that implicit meaning is not to be taken. Alright? Or yes, that is what they said, that the implicit meaning is not to be taken. That's one. Secondly, they said that perhaps that ayah, or possibly that ayah, was referring to a specific situation. And if that is the case, that if it is regarding a specific situation, then again that mafhum mukhalafa, or that implicit understanding, is also not considered as well. Does that make sense, brothers, or not? Yeah. The first is that mafhum mukhalafa, I said, if it's regarding a general situation, kharaja makhraj al-ghalib. Alright, so this is regarding the predominant situations that you are likely, that this may happen when you are traveling. Right, so this is the predominant situation. If that is the case, then the hukum, the implicit meaning of that hukum, is not to be considered. Okay, that's one. Secondly, what was the second one we said? Was that it's regarding a specific situation. Okay, so if it's regarding a specific situation, then again that mafhum mukhalaf is not considered in that particular case. So that's one argument. Regarding the second argument, is that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam only did Salatul Khawf in Safar. Any answers to that?
Was the Salatul Khawf that was done mostly done in battle? So at the time of battle, they were traveling anyway. So there's one way you can say is that because it was in a battle, they were traveling, they had no choice, they were traveling. So it doesn't mean that you cannot do it outside travel.
Okay, barakallahu fiqh. Now,
there's no evidence, maybe that Prophet Muhammad said only on Safar. Maybe if the war came to Medina, he could have prayed Salatul Khawf there.
Okay, barakallahu fiqh. I mean, if we look at the situation, that the fact, what is the reason for Salatul Khawf? Is it Safar? Is that the illah, if you like? If that is the cause for Salatul Khawf? No, Safar is not the cause. So Safar, it just happened that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam happened to be traveling, and he happened to do Salatul Khawf. But the illah, the reason is actually fear, khawf. That is the reason why he did the salah. So if the illah is there, if the reason is there, so therefore then the hukum is also there as well. So I'm sure Shaykh has mentioned that to you many times, that the hukum goes with the illah. As long as the reason is there, the hukum also applies. So as long as you have the fear factor, then the hukum also applies of Salatul Khawf. And it just happens that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ibn Qudam rahimahullah says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, while in al-Madinah, while at home, he did not have the need to do Salatul Khawf. Not that it's not done, but just the need did not arise. Wallahu alam. The third argument, which is, why did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam not pray Salatul Khawf Yawm al-Khandaq? So he said he could have prayed on that day, but he didn't, but rather they delayed, or they had to delay the salah.
Is it because the battle was very intensive? That's one opinion that the battle was very intensive. He didn't have no time to even pray Salatul Khawf.
No.
Because he was commanding and so forth. And another opinion is that the ayah, Salatul Khawf, regarding Salatul Khawf wasn't revealed that time.
Yeah, barakallahu feek. That is the possibly the stronger reason that Salatul Khawf was not revealed at that time. Salatul Khawf was revealed afterwards. So until that time, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was on the asr, which is to do the salah as we normally do, right? So it was not revealed at that time. Now you know, Al-Khandaq is what year, brothers? 5th year. Naam. So Al-Khandaq was in the 5th year, and up until that time, Salatul Khawf was not revealed. So which means that Salatul Khawf was revealed after this time, right? So if we look at the incidents that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did Salatul Khawf, that would show that all of these Salatul Khawf happened after Al-Khandaq. Yep. Do we agree? Right. So that means the cases or the situations that reported to us from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all of them occurred after Al-Khandaq, and we have a number of them. The ulama, they mentioned, for example, the Dhatul Riqa' in Ghazwat Dhatul Riqa'. That was the battle which is named. It was given that name because it was a very difficult battle, and the Sahaba, they walked on their feet, and their feet became, as a result of the hardship, they had to wrap things around their feet. So it's given that name, Dhatul Riqa'. Now, we know for sure, inshallah, as we look at the hadith later on, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did Salatul Khawf on that occasion. When did that incident happen? Some of the scholars of this seer, of history and tarikh, they mentioned that this was in the 4th year. They mentioned this was in the 4th year, and we just said that Khandaq was in the 5th year, and by that time it wasn't revealed. Salatul Khawf was revealed. So what that shows, that you may come across this, that some of the ulama, they mentioned that Ghazwat Dhat Riqa' in the 4th year, and as Imam Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah points out, that is a mistake, because that could not happen in the 4th year when the Salatul Khawf was not revealed up until that time. So for example, even in the Sirah by Ibn Kathir, Al-Fusul fi Sirat Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he mentions the battle of Dhat Riqa' in the 4th year. So that is a mistake. What the other ulama say, that the Ghazwat Dhat Riqa', for sure we know it was after Khaybar. We know for sure that it was after Khaybar, because Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiyallahu ta'ala an, he was involved in that battle. He was there in that battle. And we know Abu Musa, he returned from his hijrah in the year of Khaybar. Right? So he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah was at Khaybar. So he could not have, and he took part in the battle of Dhatul Riqa'. So that occurred after Khaybar. Are you following me, brothers? Yeah, so that's one battle we know, and that happened after Khaybar. Dhatul Riqa', the actual location, the ulama mentioned that it was towards Najd, the Najdi area of that region. Another battle that we are aware of is the battle of Usfan. The battle of Usfan, and that was probably the first time that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did Salatul Khawf. That was the first time. Now Usfan, they say, is some distance from Mecca. I'm not sure exactly how far, but some distance from Mecca. And Ibn Qayyim rahimullah, he says the first Salatul Khawf Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed was at Usfan. And there is no disagreement that Usfan was after Khandaq. Okay? And he says it is proven that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed Salatul Khawf at Dhatul Riqa', so therefore it must be after Khandaq and after Usfan. Are you following me, brothers? Yeah. So what we got? We've got the battle of Usfan, and that was, as I mentioned, some distance from Mecca, and we got the battle of Dhatul Riqa'. So Usfan came first, and we have the battle of Dhat Riqa'. And both of these, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did Salatul Khawf. And that third one we have is what's known as the Ghazwat the Qarad.